Okay, I want to take a minute to explain what's going on all these charts, what these signals are, how I determine when I'm taking a trade, where I'm taking a trade from, and just give a little bit of some context to what you're seeing before I dive into why I took a short here and then exited here. And then you'll see another one on the ES where I'm shorting the high of the day and just taking, a 35-40 tick trade, which is not the typical trade for me. But anyway, those are the two that I took, and they look a little bit out of ordinary. Number one, because this market in crude here has been going straight up all day by the time I take the short there. And I was actually on Zoom with a new member looking at some of the signals that were appearing on the Road 2 chart and trying to explain why you would get confirming signals on the way up and how those don't mean take a trade. They're just telling you that you have a potential confirming retracement high or correction high, but without the market geometry, you don't have a trade at all. And this whole way up, I'm not looking for a short at all until we hit the major areas in the market geometry, which in this case was this downsloping channel on the 10-minute, and then this one from low to low right there, and the underside of this slightly downsloping channel that we broke through and then pulled back to. So at that point, I'm simply looking for a swing high. I'm not necessarily looking for a complete reversal back down, and I'm just trying to grab a little chunk out of it, which I did. But to explain what's going on here and why we have so many minute charts, so we have a 1 minute RTH chart, which is just the day session, no overnight session, 2 minute, 5 minute, and then this 10 minute, 15 minute RTH chart, half hour, hourly, and then the largest minute chart is the 138 minute. So we have that many charts because each correction is time frame dependent. So you could have, you could be in a downtrend on the 138 minute, but an uptrend on the 5 minute, and then you get a little correction down on the 5 minute that sets up for a beautiful long on the 5 minute, even though you're in a downtrend on the 138 minute. So by correction, I mean on the chart that you're trading, what we call the operative time frame, as long as that correction is within, I think it's between 35 and 120 or 25 bars, then that chart is then the operative time frame for that trade, like for this trade here. This is the operative time frame. This 5 minute chart is the operative time frame for a trade that may or may not set up at this swing low. So we have a potential A wave down, B back up, and then once we break that A wave low, we have what could be a potential corrective low. Okay, so once we break that, as long as all the conditions are met that are programmed into this logic manager, as long as all of the requisite conditions for a potential corrective C wave on any of these minute charts is met, then you'll start to see these red or green bars, in this case for the long, red for a potential corrective high, from this logic manager. So this logic manager controls all of the signals from all of the minute charts in the lower panels here. So once you have a potential correction on any of the operative time frames, which are all of the minute charts, then you have a subsequent set of conditions that must be met from the volume and momentum divergence from each of the different charts. So say the operative time frame is the 5 minute, then I have to have confirming conditions from the next chart above, which is the 10 minute, all the way down to the 1 minute and the tick charts and the row charts. These two charts are the row bars, which we use to kind of accentuate the volume signals, which they usually do. So you can get these bloodhound stripes here in the top panel anywhere that you have enough confirming volume and momentum divergence that is associated with a potential correction on one of these different operative time frames. So just because you get those confirming signals doesn't mean that you have enough for a trade. For a trade, you have to have the confirmation signal and then the signals from the market geometry, we used to just do all of this by sight without having these Bloodhound templates programmed out, but having this programmed out just makes it a bit more obvious when you have a really nice trade setting up, but they don't catch every single trade. They just catch the really obvious ones. So at this high, which you'll see me start to go over in a moment, we had the last confirming conditions back here at this high, but we didn't have the signals from the market geometry until on those next couple of bars. So I started to get the signal here, and then I'm waiting for it to go up and actually tag this downsloping channel on the tick chart, which is connected from the low before the high to the lowest low back to the highest high. So that's the main area for the trade, number one, right there, which we finally hit on that big churn bar, and then I pulled the trigger. Okay, but we had multiple other areas as well, which is why I ended up taking it. Like I said, we had the areas from the RTH chart there, which are beautiful, and then also this downsloping channel on the 10-minute. So multiple areas coming together by the time that we get to the top of that channel where the market finally reversed. So I just wanted to kind of make it clear as to why you would see so many Bloodhound stripes up here on this row 2 chart on the price panel. You don't have enough for a trade unless you also have the areas in the market geometry. So just to make this a bit clearer, the market geometry template is in the lower panel. Okay, you've got the confirmation template in the price panel, which has all of the volume and volume divergence, momentum divergence conditions in it from all of the different charts. And then these are all of the signals from the logic manager for each of the operative time frames. And depending upon the operative time frame, you have to have a specific set of confirming conditions from the associated confirmation charts. Most of these are like 2 or more or 3 or more charts have to have the signal. The larger the time frame, the larger the number of required confirmation conditions. Okay, so that's on the price panel here. And then in the lower panel here, you can see the darker red, darker green in the same panel as the divergence analyst. That contains all of the conditions for a bar touching the areas from the market geometry, whether it's a yellow trend line, baseline, trend channel line, median line, from the 2 tick charts and then the 6 minute charts. So when the 2 of those line up, overlap, or are close to overlapping, as they are right here, see how you have that one Bloodhound stripe in the price panel, and then on the same bar you have the signal from the market geometry. Once those 2 align, then the Bloodhound template on the row 1 chart will draw a signal. So on the row 1 chart within Bloodhound, I have one solver connected to the market geometry template and the other solver connected to the confirmation, the volume and momentum divergence confirmation template. So when the 2 align, then you'll get the signal on the row 1 chart. So we had the 1 here. I waited on that little retracement and then go back up on volume divergence, momentum divergence, and then once we actually turned a little bit down off of the area after that big churn bar on the tick 2 chart, then I got short and then traded down to here. And then as I was waiting on the trade in the ES, I missed this beautiful long. It was so perfect too. Everything lined up there as well, as you can see on the row 2 right there. You get some confirmation here, which is really from the 1 minute chart, and that's not what I was trading. I was trading the 5 minute, which you then get the signals from there with the market geometry signal there. They both align, and then it draws on the row 1 chart, and then you can see that 5 minute signal from the logic manager right there, and then straight up. That's a beautiful trade. That's the bread and butter right there. That's the one we look for over and over and over. Anytime I see something like that, I'll take it. So hopefully that answers some of the questions that you may have when you're looking at all of these different charts, all of these different signals. Hopefully it makes a little bit more sense now. Okay, Daniel Rowe here with TradeThePlan.com. I actually just got into the short after meeting with a new member, John, and looking at this and seeing all of these confirming signals, which really just means that you have enough confirming volume and momentum divergence for one of the signals from the operative time frame charts, and saying how you can see, signals like that, but without the confirming market geometry, which you see in this lower panel here, you don't have enough for a trade. And then shortly after we got off, it came up a little higher. You get this last confirming signal, and then we actually reach all of the areas that I've been waiting for it to hit in the market geometry. I'm not expecting this to come all the way down. In fact, I'm looking to get out of this on just a short retracement at about 2.5 to 3 to 1 of my risk. So about a 2.5 R multiple. But the areas that we hit are actually quite nice. So this was the first low before the high, which gave us that retracement yesterday, which I should have taken but wasn't here. I was at the gym. And then now to the lowest low, we blew through that area. I wasn't looking to trade that area because of the strength in which it's been going up. But this one, once we hit it, we had already put in a little slight retracement here and then ended on that big churn bar. And once I saw that big churn bar on this tick 2 chart, I went ahead and got in. But like I said, I'm not expecting to get much out of this. In fact, that is technically the first spot right there. I'm going to take one off here and then see if it won't come down a bit lower. So I'm not necessarily looking for a complete reversal, but I do expect the market to turn at least a little bit from areas like that, especially when they line up across the different time frames. That's not right. That's the lowest low there. Yeah, so it's a potential zigzag, but I'm just not that sure of it. So, but look at this. This was the other main area. So if I were to delete everything and draw it over, this is what we have coming together here. So it came right down to that lower median line this morning and reversed up. Kind of thinking this is a reversal, complete reversal up. But we also hit the underside of that channel, potential kiss goodbye, and then that right where this channel, right where this median line is intersecting its channel with that last bar touching all three areas. So that's a pretty good look for an area to expect at least a slight retracement from. It may not reverse all the way back down, but I should be able to get a little bit out of it. I hope. Maybe that was the swing low and I just missed it. Either way, I'll let this play out and see what happens. If it does come back down, then it's going to come back lower than that. So let's see. Yeah. Hopefully it'll come down. Maybe not. Maybe not. Alright, crude looks like it's about to break out of this channel and come down. So I may just exit both when it hits this little downsloping channel. Don't do that to me.
Target filled.
I'm taking one off there just to be safe, because it could be finding support on this before it hits the bottom of that downsloping channel. That's a big churn bar on the 1 minute. Sheesh. So not necessarily a low, but man, it looks like it's a low, doesn't it? Here we go. Come on down. Sometimes I think these row charts are a little bit too slow the way that I have them now. I feel like they need to be a little bit faster. I'm tired of it.
Target filled.
I'm out. $930. Whatever, I'll take it. Alright. Okay, the ES has finally hit the top of that channel on the RTH chart. This 15-minute regular session, no overnight, and it's turning down a little bit. I wanted it to hit exactly 75. It's not quite doing that. It's gonna have to come back and hit that. Yeah, I can't just jump into it there. It's got to come back and actually hit one of these upsloping areas. So the next thing I have to see is this, and then I'll short it from about 74 if it'll make it back. See how it's kind of rounding out, sharp up, and now it's having a hard time moving higher. So the range is narrowing on the higher time frames, like this hourly chart. See, wide ranging bar, and then a little narrower, a little bit narrower. I need one more narrow bar come up and hit that midline, hopefully. It's not really at that downsloping upper median line, but let me see if I use the highest closing price on the hourly, if it actually looks right. Not quite. 77. I don't want to force it, meaning I don't want to just, draw in some areas to make it have more areas. I'm not trying to force a trade. I'm just trying to find the exact spot where this thing is likely to turn back down. Okay, here we go. Right there. That's the spot.
Order submitted.
2-bar pattern on the 1 minute. 2-bar pattern on the row. Well, big churn bar.
Order filled.
Alright, I'm in at 73.25. That's what I needed. Some extreme churn up here. At least a couple of churn bars. I wanted a little bit higher. I wanted to see 75. I wanted to get in at 75. This is where I should be getting in right now. Right where those lines are intersecting. I can get one more. This is a really dangerous trade that I'm doing. Not super high probability. I really shouldn't be taking it. I'm convincing myself that this is the high of the day that we're making right now, and we should get at least some kind of retracement in this last hour. One that I could trade back to, say, the bottom of this channel here, something like that. So I'm not expecting a complete reversal, although that may happen. Just something like this, 40, 30, 40 ticks, something like that. Okay, this is what I'm expecting. So I want to see it come down to the bottom of that channel, at which point I will likely take one off. If it goes up and makes a new high, I want to be out anyway, so I'm going to tighten that stop up. We don't have a whole lot of time left in the session. I think it's 3:11 right now. And then the last one I'll take off at the bottom of this channel. I mean, unless it really starts moving, I want to give it a little bit of room. Another thing that we had lined up here was the 100% warning line of this last downsloping channel, which is right there. So those are always good. To the tick, right on the tick. Can't make it up. It's crazy. I just need to get through this trend line now. That's the first spot. For support, it's just super tight, and I want to see a reversal down, so I'm expecting that to break. Right now it looks like it's holding. We did have a little 2-bar pattern there, but I think that's just because we had some increased volume to the downside and some people are buying that last little trend line there. I'm hoping this will break through. Really, I should take one off there, but like I said, I'm expecting a reversal down, or at least some kind of correction like we had this morning. We finally hit that downsloping upper median line, which is what we used for the lows on Friday. This one here. So lower median line to upper median line. Okay, it's coming back down a little bit faster, so that's a good sign. So the next area is right there, but I'm gonna see if it won't break it. Just don't really trust that reversal all that much. Nah, I'm gonna close it.
Target filled.
Alright, I'm done with that. I'm gonna wrap this video up, leave it there. So, kinda scalping, but not exactly. I just found a spot where I was expecting at least, a tiny swing high, a little bit of a retracement back down. It gave me that, so I'm just taking what it gave me and calling it a day. It's probably going to go right down to my area now, but that's fine, whatever. One more good trade in the bag. Not the highest R multiple on that trade, but whatever. Still profitable. So I haven't taken very many trades. I didn't take many trades last week at all. Last one on the ES was, I got one off here, and then I took the stop there, and that was the 23rd. I've just been planning for this trading room and trying to get some things updated. So I'm thinking about opening the trading room on the 13th. I'm pretty well dead set on February 13th. So that'll be the day that we start the room, and I'm going to start with 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, just to kind of ease into it for the first couple of weeks. Anyway, let's see what the performance has been. So I didn't really start trading until the 11th, I think. Yeah, so about 2 weeks. That's the number right there, 3.5. That's what I go for. Above 2.5 for the win-loss ratio. And then, yeah, that's about right. 48 to 56%, something like that on average. Good profit factor. Commission's not in there, but I'll change that. So, not bad. I just haven't taken very many trades yet, so it's a decent comeback. Should get better though. Alright, I'm gonna wrap this one up here.